They were told a poor landlocked country could never do this. No big lender, no foreign contractor, no green lights from Paris or Washington. Yet, in December 2025, Burkina Faso quietly lit a fuse under the entire African system. A 332-kilometer 8-lane highway, fully funded from inside the country, is now under construction between Ouagadougou and Bobo-Dioulasso. No begging tours in European capitals, no staged press conferences with foreign partners claiming credits, just dust, machines, and a government that decided to move. For many Africans, especially in the diaspora, this is not just about one road. It feels like proof that the rules we were forced to accept have finally been broken. A landlocked Sahel state, under pressure from all sides, is doing what bigger, richer countries have been too scared or too captured to attempt. But is this the start of a new era for the Sahel? Dangerous experiment that the system will try to crush before it succeeds? And what does it really say about Ibrahim Traore, the Sahel Alliance, and the slow, noisy collapse of the French influence in the region? Let's break it down. For decades, Burkina Faso crawled when it came to roads. A few kilometers laid here and there. Another promised, and always the same excuse: we are waiting for funding. Now, in one move, the country is pushing a 332-kilometer 8-lane highway that looks more like something from a rich coastal state than a landlocked Sahel nation. This expressway is not just wide, it is aggressive in design. Interchanges, overpasses, and a layout that can slash travel time between the capital and its economic hub. What used to be a long, draining journey may soon be a fast straight corridor linking farms, factories, and markets. Quietly, a question is spreading. How did a country living under constant security threats find the courage and the cash to move at this scale? And if Burkina Faso, with all its challenges, can do this, what excuse do bigger African economies have? That question alone is making a lot of powerful people very uncomfortable. And that's exactly why this story is bigger than one highway. What makes this story dangerous to the old order is not only the concrete, but the way it's being poured. No foreign consortium at the center. No imported experts calling the shots. Burkinabe engineers, Burkinabe workers, Burkinabe machines. This is the part the rest of Africa is watching in silence. Now, students have chipped in with what they can. Business owners have donated materials. Everyday citizens are treating this particular project like a personal mission, not a government spectacle. Development is no longer something done to a passive population. It feels like a collective act. And that shift is psychological, but it is also deeply political. Once people see the state acting without waiting for outside approval, it becomes very hard to sell the old story that we have no choice but to depend on others. If this model holds, it becomes a template, a repeatable code. And that is exactly what many outsiders fear, that Burkina Faso might prove Africa never needed the old gatekeepers in the first place. Most Africans know this script by heart. A flashy new project appears, the groundbreaking photos look great, and then the real cost arrives. Interests, conditions, and a foreign currency bill that hangs over the next generation. The country gets infrastructure, but it also gets chains. Burkina Faso is trying to write a different script. Financing this highway from internal resources sent a blunt message. Local land, local minerals, and local taxes can build a modern state. It's not romantic. It means hard cuts, tough budgeting, and saying no to loans that look friendly today but arrive as weapons tomorrow. If this part works, it weakens the most effective pressure tool used on African states. Debt dependency. Picture other governments from Dakar to Nairobi looking at Ouagadougou and quietly wondering, what if we stopped hiding behind lenders and actually took risks for our people? If that question spreads across presidential palaces and finance ministries, it may do more damage to the old global order than any fiery speech ever could. Burkina Faso is not moving in isolation. Alongside Mali and Niger, it has stepped out of the ECOWAS comfort zone and into something far less predictable. The alliances of Sahel states, 3 militaries, 3 governments, 1 shared message. No more being treated like the unstable backyard of West Africa. They are building their own investment bank, coordinating security, and speaking openly about economic and political independence. For years, decisions about the Sahel were drafted in foreign capitals and rubber stamped in regional meetings. Now, those same capitals, are watching a bloc that refuses to automatically fall in line. To some observers, this new alliance looked reckless. A group of troublemakers, burning bridges. To others, especially young Africans and the diaspora, it looks like the first serious attempt to break a system that kept the region weak on purpose. The highway in Burkina Faso is not just national infrastructure. It is a physical signal that the Sahel is learning to move as one, not just sit in meetings as 3 separate crisis zones waiting to be managed. The most powerful part of this story is not written in policy papers. It can be seen on people's faces. When citizens watch convoys of trucks, see workers on site, and witness fresh asphalt stretching towards the horizon, something inside them shifts. Doubts, that old companion, starts to loosen its grip. Farmers begin to picture their goods reaching markets faster and fresher. Young people start to imagine careers in building the country instead of only dreaming of escaping it. Traders seize new routes, new customers, new margins forming in their minds long before the last lane is paved. But this new belief cuts both ways. Once people feel real momentum, they stop accepting excuses. They start asking for better schools, more factories, stronger systems to match the new roads. And any leader who raises expectations like this also raises the price of failure. If the highways stall, if corruption creeps in, the disappointment will burn just as hot as today's hope. That unspoken tension is growing quietly in the background. Ibrahim Traore is no longer just another president on a protocol list. He is turning into a symbol for hardcore supporters, especially in the diaspora. He looks like an answer to a painful question. Can Africa still produce leaders who are young, bold, and completely unafraid of breaking with old powers? Images of him at regional events, combat fatigues in a sea of suits, circulate far beyond Burkina Faso. Many see echoes of Thomas Sankara, another Burkinabe leader who challenged global power and paid the highest price. That comparison is very heavy. It carries both hope and unease. Hope because people feel they might be witnessing the second chapter of a story that was cut short in the 1980s. Unease because history has shown how the system responds when African leaders stop playing their assigned roles. As Traore moves fast on infrastructure, security, and sovereignty, his supporters cheer. But they also know that each success makes him a bigger target. And that knowledge keeps them excited, keeps them inspired, and slightly on edge. Now here is where it all comes together for me. This highway is not just about Alsharts and speed limits. It is Traore's concrete answer to a deeper rejection happening across the Sahel. The rejection of a France-centered order that promised stability but delivered dependency, insecurity, and humiliation. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso did not turn their backs on France just out of anger. They did it because after years of foreign troops, advisors, and operations, they were still losing grounds, lives, and control. Traore's push for a developed Burkina Faso is his side of that break. While others debate on television, he is laying lanes and raising pillars. The road ahead will not be smooth. The security threats are real. The money is finite. Mistakes are certain. But between a future where the Sahel keeps waiting for instructions and a future where it stumbles forward on its own terms, I know which one speaks to the soul of a free people. This is Frontline Africa. If this kind of unfiltered African first storytelling resonates with you, stay with us, subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. I see them, I learn from them, and they shape what we will explore next. My name is Peace Solomon. Thank you for riding with me today, and I can't wait to have you back for the next episode.